Hello everybody, so today I'm inspired to share with you, I got a question that was posed on YouTube on one of the videos I had put up, and it was specifically, I believe, regarding the principle in A Course in Miracles that says, I need do nothing. I need do nothing. And the question reads, if I want to become a good dancer or singer, I must practice and take classes that will help improve my technique and style, etc. I must sleep, eat well, stay in shape, etc. if I want to sustain myself. I must work, and blah, 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 so on. So the point being made is that in this world, there are things you need to do to sustain yourself in this worldly experience. You know, one must, if they have a desire to be a good dancer, one must go through the steps involved in that, and so forth. The question continues, I know there's a sense of letting go, but to what extent must I let go? If I simply let go of everything, then I wouldn't even wake up in the morning. I don't know. What is your call on this? So the question is I guess there's a feeling of, you know, how do we integrate this principle, this idea of I need do nothing when we're surrounded in a worldly experience where we always have to do something. And I think it's important to just step back for a moment and understand the context in which the principle is put forward in the Course. When the Course says, I need do nothing, the I that the Course is referring to is the little me, the ego. And this little me, or little self-concept, believes that he or she does need to do something. It needs to do a lot of things. In fact, it needs to author its life. It needs to plan out its future. It needs to work hard to earn a good living, to make a great career for oneself. It must, if it wants to dance, it must practice. And all those things from the perspective of the world is true. However, the spiritual journey, or the spiritual path, or the intent of a spiritual aspirant is really to liberate oneself from the world. It is to transcend the world. So what the Course is basically bringing to our attention, or what this brings to my attention as I read it, I need do nothing, it's really saying at the heart that all our suffering is coming from this misidentity with this little me who thinks it's in charge of your happiness, thinks it's in charge of your enlightenment, thinks it's in charge of what will bring peace. And as long as we believe we need to do that, we will be caught up in the rut of struggle. Because the premise of this ego identity, the premise of this little separated self, is that it is separate from the whole. It is always striving to experience itself as whole, but looking for it always in the wrong places. It is true that all these things must be done. You must eat well if you want to sustain the body. But what we're going for is beyond the body. What the Course, the mind training is leading us to is an experience of something beyond the world and the body. So it is about undoing these beliefs that we have to author our lives in this world. We have to establish our worth in this world. When we are no longer making investments in the world, what we truly are, which is peace, joy, happiness, and whole, can emerge. It can become self-evident because we are no longer seeking for it in outer things, in the outer world. Yes. Now, unless we've been graced by a stroke of enlightenment, this spiritual journey or path appears as a process. And so there's nothing wrong with doing in this world. We now recognize that all this doing is what makes for the suffering. So the Course is also sharing or letting us, or bringing to our awareness that it can be used as a means of awakening. So yes, we find ourselves in a body, but if we now see our body not as an end, not as a limitation, but rather now as a learning device or as a means to awakening, we can use what we think we need to do in this world to awakening. So, for example, if one is inspired by dancing or one is inspired by singing, we go, we dance, and we sing. And in the experience of the inspiration, in the experience of joy, we're being brought back to what is true about us and who we are. So we're using the body as a means to coming back to truth, which we are joy, whole, and complete. And one who's inspired by dancing has that experience perhaps when one is dancing, when one is truly inspired to sing. One is certainly very present in the moment, and what's coming through is beyond the body. In fact, I've heard many artists talk about, when they paint, they're gone, something else takes over. When they sing, the same thing, or dance, the same thing. And so the body's now used as a means. Now, if we use the body for the ego's purpose, which is for accomplishment to achieve, one could go about singing or dancing, and yes, practice may be called for, but now practice is now no longer inspiring, but used to get better, to be better than other people, to be special, to achieve a level of status. And so now dancing becomes has been given the purpose of defining one's worth. Or let's take the example of food. Yes, we do need to eat and we do need to sleep, but once again, those things can be used in a similar manner. Certainly there are many people who are inspired by cooking. There are many people who are inspired to run and to bike and so forth. And so it can be used again as a means to coming back home, to joy, to peace, to love. But when we get caught up in believing that our worth is determined by how we eat, how many hours of sleep we get, how we take care of our body, and how we're sustaining our body, then we're in trouble. Because then it becomes about, if my body doesn't look a certain way, then I'm not worthy. I'm less than. Or in the case of the example of dancing and singing, when we believe our worthiness is defined by how well we sing and dance and how accomplished we are, what happens when we break our leg? What happens if there's an accident? What happens if we can no longer sing? What happens as we age? Our body doesn't move the same way. And certainly, as someone who knows a lot of singers, many of which have gotten older, they can no longer hit the notes that they used to hit. So what now? Are they less worthy? So I need do nothing is, I don't have to do anything to experience joy, peace, and love, to experience truth. That is always with us. The question, how much should I let go? To what extent must I let go? This journey that we're on is a journey of undoing and letting go. The ultimate is that it's all let go, that everything's let go. And I speak from experience that I ask this question myself, to what extent I need to let go, realizing that I still have a lot of attachments in this world, realizing that I still question what things are for and my investments in them. So that question does come up for me. And so, but there's an underlying perception and realization that it all has to be let go. But it's not a sacrifice. It's not, I have to let go of my investment and so I'm going to lose. It's as I let go of my investment, I become more and more free. I feel liberated. And I'm no longer trying to sustain my lifestyle in this experience. I'm no longer trying to sustain a great body. I'm not doing those things, so I'm not burdened by what those things call for me to do. So ultimately, yes, everything needs to be let go. And the question is, well, what if I let go of everything, I won't wake up in the morning? What meaning does waking up in the morning have if what you're waking up to is a dream, is illusion? When everything is forgiven, when everything is overlooked, yes, the universe disappears. Hence the title of Gary Renard's book, The Disappearance of the Universe. When all is forgiven, Yes, what need is there for this illusion when truth is realized? The aim of the Course is to remove the blocks that keep love's presence out of our awareness. And whenever we're caught up in the rut of trying to make our life work, trying to make things be the way we think they should be, we suffer and we don't experience love. We can't experience love because what we're really doing is we're blocking love. We're saying, I know better. I know better. I know better than you, God. I know better. And when we do that, we're not allowing the grace of God to flow through us and lead us through inspiration and through joy. To let go and let God is to let go and let love. It's to let it come through us. And so it's not that we won't practice dancing or singing. It's not that we'll stop exercising. It's not that we have to stop those things. It's just we're no longer placing our faith that those things are going to bring us joy. We're no longer placing our faith in those things to establish our worth. We're being led by what we truly are, which is joy. And it may be that things do fall away. We may stop going to the gym. Case in point. We may stop going to the gym because we realize, what is it for? Why is there an investment for me to look a certain way? Why is there an investment to ward off the perception of death or ward off, the perceived loss of a body when I'm trying, or my intent is to discover myself of what is true about myself? And the deeper I go with the mind training, the more I recognize that and experience that I'm not a body. So things may fall away. The beauty in it is the discovery of more. So it's like, I don't go to the gym like I used to go, and so I remember when I used to go to the gym, I used to discipline myself and then get upset because I didn't go and try to go, and I'd work really hard and I'd watch this, and it's like all those thoughts that occupied my mind are no longer in my mind. And now it's like the beauty of I feel healthier than I ever have because I'm no longer stressed about the gym. I'm no longer worried about the gym. I feel like I have more energy. I have more to give others. I feel better about myself because I'm not judging myself. And I'm no longer judging others and what they look like. There's freedom. I need do nothing for that freedom. I need do nothing for that experience of wholeness. So, yes, as long as we believe in this world, there's seemingly things we need to do, and there's nothing wrong with doing them, and certainly everything can be used by the Holy Spirit for the purpose of awakening. So with that awareness, whether we're working and we're practicing, there's an awareness that I'm doing this for the purpose of joy. And when the joy's not there, then it's like, what am I doing this for? What investment do I have? How am I blocking out the awareness of love's presence by thinking this way? Show me something different. Let me be guided by what knows truth. I need do nothing. Love you.